Good evening, and welcome to Bedtime Biographies, where we relax to the stories of remarkable lives, all while drifting off to sleep. Tonight, we unravel the story of one of history's most paradoxical figures, a man whose face became the ultimate symbol of rebellion, plastered on dormitory walls from Berkeley to Beijing and worn on T-shirts by people who have no idea what he stood for. He was a doctor who became a killer, a man who helped liberate Cuba, then left paradise to die in a Bolivian ditch. His enemies shot him in 1967, thinking they could bury the revolution with his body. Instead, they created an immortal. Ernesto Guevara, known to the world simply as Che, became more powerful dead than he'd ever been alive. Before we start, a quick note. Playing ads is what lets us keep bringing you new bedtime biographies every week. But we know you're here to relax, so we've limited them to just 2, one before Chapter 1 and one before Chapter 2. After that, the rest of the story flows uninterrupted. And if these quiet explorations help you unwind, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps other restless minds find these stories. Finally, let us know in the comments which historical figure should keep you company next time. Now, Che Guevara remains one of history's most divisive figures. But tonight, we'll meet the human beneath the myth. We'll discover why, 50 years after his death, the world still can't let him go. So settle in, let the day's troubles fade, and allow yourself to drift along on this journey through a life that refused to be ordinary. This is the bedtime biography of Che Guevara. Chapter 1: The Secret Birth. The birth certificate was a lie. June 14th, 1928. It said, stamped and signed with all the authority of the Argentine state. But baby Ernesto had actually arrived a month earlier, on May 14th, squalling into the world with a secret already wrapped around him. His mother, Celia, needed that lie desperately. 3 months pregnant at her wedding wasn't just embarrassing in 1920s Argentina. It was social suicide, the kind of scandal that could destroy a family's standing forever. So, a family friend, a doctor with flexible ethics and steady hands, adjusted the paperwork, one small fiction, to protect a family's reputation, to keep the whispers at bay. Both parents came from aristocratic stock. Ernesto Guevara Lynch, the father, carried adventure in his bones and an imagination that stretched beyond reason. His great-grandfather had been one of South America's richest men, though that fortune had long since scattered. Celia de la Serna was true Argentine blue blood. One ancestor had ruled as Spanish royal viceroy of colonial Peru. So the newlyweds fled Buenos Aires and its wagging tongues. They headed for Misiones province, remote as anywhere in Argentina. Using Celia's inheritance, they carved out a yerba mate plantation from the jungle Puerto Caraguatay. They called their homestead. Here, among the howler monkeys and endless rain, no one asked questions about wedding dates. The local labor system turned Ernesto Sr.'s stomach. Workers called mensu lived trapped in debt, bondage, their wages stolen before they earned them through company store schemes and rigged accounting. Most plantation owners loved the system. Not Guevara Lynch, he insisted on paying his workers in actual cash, not company scrip. His neighbors thought him mad. This was the world that shaped the boy who would become Che. A world built on a lie that protected his mother's honor. A world where his father's wealth came from jungle soil, but his ethics rejected the cruelty that usually came with it. It was a madness his son would inherit. That rage against exploitation, that inability to look away from suffering. Chapter 2: The Asthmatic Daredevil. At age 2, a cold swim changed everything. His parents had taken him to the beach, and the water was colder than expected. The cough started that night. By morning, it had become something else entirely. The doctor's diagnosis landed like a punch. Chronic asthma for life. The attacks would come without warning. His chest would tighten, his breathing turning into desperate gasps. Some nights, his parents would find him sitting upright in bed, fighting for air, his lips tinged blue. His illness ruled out any return to the damp climate of Misiones, and even their home in San Isidro, near the Rio de la Plata, proved too humid for him. On the advice of doctors, the Guevaras packed up and moved to Alta Gracia, a spa town famous for its dry climate. They lived in several houses there. Villa Chichita first, then Villa Nidia. Each move was another attempt to find the perfect spot, the magic combination of altitude and air that might let their son breathe easier. The town was full of other sick children, other desperate parents, tuberculosis, asthma, mysterious wasting diseases. Alta Gracia was where you went when nowhere else could help. But here's the thing about Ernesto. The asthma might have pinned him to his bed for days at a time, might have turned him into a voracious reader who devoured everything from adventure novels to philosophy, but when he could stand, when his lungs allowed it, he transformed into something else, a daredevil, a maniac, a kid who seemed determined to dare death to take him. He joined the local gangs, the barras that ruled the streets of Alta Gracia. They fought with stones and slingshots, defending their territories with the seriousness of real warriors. Ernesto, wheezing and skinny, threw himself into every battle. When other kids backed down, he pushed forward. When they hesitated at the edge of danger, he jumped. His stunts became legendary. He'd hang by his hands from railroad trestles while trains thundered overhead. He drank ink on a dare, ate chalk in class just to horrify his teachers. Once, knowing a strict teacher was about to spank him, he slipped a brick into his shorts. When her hand came down, she howled in pain. He took his punishment without flinching. The Guevara household itself was a kind of contained chaos.